People deluded. Now, Joe Willock. Now, it remains to be seen whether he can make it at Arsenal or not. I root for these homegrown lads all the way, as you know. I think he's a good player. I've enjoyed watching him develop through the academy and get first team chances and stuff. He's a Highland lad. First and foremost, he's a young man that had a dream of being a footballer. Again, he's there, but he's not quite there. But he's relished some dreams, and that's what you want to see. 20 years of age in August. Now he is a late developer. People need to remember that. It's similar to Ox. He's previously had growing problems and he's needed to wait physically. I remember when I had a conversation, and my old school subscribers will remember. Don't want to be baiting up people's name, but an old Arsenal scout at this moment. But an old Arsenal scout told me the club are just waiting on Willock. He's like, not that he didn't say it in that he's gonna be the next captain and do a madness. He said just waiting for him a bit physically. He was one of the youngest in his scholarship group, just waiting on him a bit. And if we incorporate that in development terms, generally we have to take our time. He's 20 in August now. He's batted up under 23s football. People, he's completed it. Like, the man could terrorize teams in his sleep. He's a very lovely player in my opinion. He can glide. I'm enjoying how he's developing physically and stature wise, man. He's really growing into that sort of midfielder role. He's obviously can link up play. He's got very good skills. He's a good player, man. He's a very good technical player. Again, I'm not here to say he can be this, that and the other, and it's a tough hearts breaking into midfield. But next season, if he's not going to get football here as part of the rebuild or be given an honest chance to break in, again, it's difficult, he probably needs to go out on loan, or in fact he does, because I believe he should not, him and Eddie Nketiah, excluding the obvious, cannot afford to play 23 football. It's a waste of a year. They're way too good for it. A lot of people say replace El Nene's role, take El Nene's role. And again, Willock will probably relish staying close to the squad as he has done, because he has probably had many opportunities to go on loan, but he's relished staying at the club, staying under the eye, doesn't want to be out of sight, out of mind sort of thing. But at the same time, people always say take El Nene's role and El Nene's role. How much football has El Nene played, people? Again, I hear that. I hear the logic. But when you deep it, how much football has El Nene played? Is that anything to aspire to? Of course, as a young guy, take your chances as they come. And he started in the league a couple of times and stuff like that. But is that anything to aspire for? If you're a young player told you can take El Nene's place, sure, in terms of moving up in the world, you're going to say, yeah, but he's not played much. Minutes is currency, people, at the end of the day. It's nice saying every young player's got potential, this, that, and the other, but minutes is currency. You play football, you build you build up competencies. You build up your competencies, you become consistent. You become consistent, you can play to a higher level. You play to a higher level, to a really good level, you can play for a better football club. And you have 9 times out of 10, it correlates to the better football club you play, the more accomplishments you win. You win more accomplishments, people. That's what everyone wants to look back in their careers in anything they do. So it's tough, man. He needs to, I believe, if it's not going to happen here, he needs to go out and play. Like I said, he's 20 years of age in August. He's completed under 23s football. I don't believe he should really be 20 years of age playing under 23s football. Of course, if Emre said he's going to be given an honest chance to make a name for himself, either in that 10 position or in a more withdrawn midfield role, which I've seen him do a bit of both, then of course you stay, and because it would probably be tough breaking in initially, you might have to keep up match fitness wise playing 23s. Of course you can play Europa League. Now if you look at Wenger's, the amount of times he played under Wenger in Europa League, he probably not played as much in under Emre, if I remember rightly and I checked correctly. So he's played less minutes, people. I actually think I got the notes here, people. Let me just read them out. Like I said, he's 20 in August. 7 well Yeah, he's 17 in August. This season, he's played 192 minutes in the Europa League, 64 in the Premier League, and 90 in the FA Cup. Where's the stats from last season, man? It's on my phone, people. So he's. I think there's a clear decrease in the amount of football he's even played under the new manager, and that's in no way a criticism of Emery. Needs to do what he needs to do. But if you look at, I'm just saying, look at Joe Willock's situation. If you remember, not that you played an amazing amount last year, but you've played less football. There's a rebuild. Will you get a chance? Obviously, in his position, Emil Rose-Smith, I believe, can be an 8 as well as a 10. So one day there might be that. Maybe he goes out on loan to a top division. I believe he'll be suited to Germany or something, a more technically based league. I think he could do his thing in the Championship, people. But I just feel it's a bit. Do you know what? Unless it's Charlton or something where they really look after our players, I'm not really on it, people, because obviously consistency is consistency, but I just feel in the Championship, because of the nature, there's pressure everywhere. I feel there's a lot of pressure on managers. They need short-term results. Joe Willock's still developing. You don't know what you're going to get from him from 10 games. First 2 games he might be unstoppable. The next couple he might fade out, finds his way out the side, finds himself not really getting suitable minutes, people. Now, like I said, this season he's made 12 appearances, 6 goals and 2 assists. I've already given you a lot of minutes. I'm checking this on my phone, people. Let me get last season. Oh, I'm 1%. This might die. People, forgive me. Gotta be like Speedy Gonzalez. Come on. Don't do this to me. Alright, cool, people. We're in. Now, what? Last season, 17-18, he made 2 appearances in the Premier League. 1 against Newcastle, and it didn't have the best of games. 3 in the AFL Cup and 5 in the Europa League, people. So, yeah, man, against Bate, he obviously got 89 minutes against Bate. He played substantially against Red Star. 15 minutes, more or less, against Bate. Against Ostersunds and Bate in separate games. Well, why is the phone doing it? Like, he's made 17 appearances for Arsenal generally, so it's not the most. It's not showing me the minutes now, people, collectively. Yeah, people, in regards to just Premier League minutes last season, he got 82. Did he get 82? Yeah, he got 82. And he got 273 in the Europa League, so he's played less minutes. So if you're looking at him, you've played, it's a new manager and you've started again from zero and all of these things, and I'm not criticising Unai Emery once again, people, but you've had to start again. You've made 17 appearances. Yes, you might get a chance if you work hard in pre-season, and along with Emil and Nelson and Saka and Amici, one of the names being thrown about to have a good, that should be given a good pop of breaking into the first team. But it is a gamble. Yeah, you might get chances and there's no rights and wrongs. But for me, if I'm him or his advisors, then you got to go somewhere, technically based team, showcase yourself, get some minutes under your belt, people. I'm sure he wants to get into the England's under-21 side and beyond that. Get some minutes under your belt. Minutes are currency. Play against physical teams and stuff like that. And again, just develop. Because I think I'm enjoying how he's playing, man. And I think he's going to have a decent career regardless of whether it's here or elsewhere. I really like Joe Willock, man. And yeah, man, football's a funny old game. You look at his brother, left and went to Benfica's not really played. And it'll be interesting to see if he breaks through next season at Benfica. Because I remember a couple of months ago, did the president of Benfica not say him and Jota and a couple of players will be given an honest crack of making it at Benfica. I believe in Joe Willock, man. I like him. Like I said, I think he's set for a bright future in the game, and things like that. He's developing physically, which I'm liking. And obviously the crucial thing is confidence, because he's not had an easy ride, man. People have praised him. They praised him for the Europa League little cameo when he came on and showed heart and should have scored. And I can't remember what game it was, people, but what people not criticising him. Some idiot went on Arsenal Fan TV and was criticising him, and Ian Wright reacted, and I think I did a vid, and things like that. What else? Yeah, it wasn't a hard time. And obviously, even if you remember against Newcastle away from home, it wasn't an easy ride for him. Even in the FA Cup, Emirates Cup, people were getting onto him. So he's had some good moments. It's happened to Maitland-Niles. It's happened to him. Even happened to Nelson when he didn't have the best of games against United away. It's something they're going to have to deal with. And I always tell you, lot, especially for young players, fans are fickle. And the same rope you climb up on, they hang you with. Because everyone bangs for Nelson's name. Everyone's banging for him, thinking he's going to be the Messiah. I believe in Nelson. I think he's a bad boy footballer. But next season, he's still developing. He's played 20 odd times for Hoffenheim. He's played 16 times for Arsenal. Again, my maths is poor, but you probably, let's just say he's touching 30 appearances. How much appearances is that? He's not going to be the finished article. They're banging on for him. If he has a great game, great. I'm always rooting for him. But if he has a poor game, they're going to be the first to be fickle and get onto him. Because that's the sport and the nature they're in. People bang for these young players. People don't understand about these young players, and they get onto him. And it's just like about other players as well, senior players. Bang, they criticise one, and again, we all do it, myself included, but criticise why one player's playing every week and then he's not playing, you want to bring him on, and vice versa, and all of these sort of things. It's a fickle world they live in. For me, I wouldn't, if I was Joe Willock, I wouldn't be too inspired with hearing that I can take El Nene's place and move up the ranks, because that's only for depth purposes. Joe Willock's of the age, and a lot of them, they've got to be selfish. I'm sure they all want to make it at this club and stuff, and if they can, great, but they've got to be selfish. They've got to think of, he can't care about Emery might need depth for the squad and things. Yeah, he can see that as a positive to break through, but he can't care. He needs to think, I need to go and get games. It's like Eddie, I need to go and get games and score goals at this level and reassert myself. Because you need to. Look at the amount of players that have left Arsenal and never looked back, even the ones that are not making headlines. Dragomir didn't sign the new deal, but he left under 23's football and he's playing in Serie B. Getting more competencies against grown men. Josh De Silva making appearances at Brentford. Benassi, obviously a real success story. He's getting linked with Napoli and could play Champions League football and all of them sort of things there. Jeff's making inroads. This is not me criticising the club or anything. This is me saying minutes are currency. These lot have left this level and never looked back. Look at Willock. He's got a taste of first team football and he never wants to look back. He was so hungry for first team football. He made a wrong decision going to Warsaw and sadly he got a reoccurrence of his injury. Never looked back. Daniel Marlin left. Never looked back. PSV and being talking about as playing in Holland's first team. Players have got to be selfish. I'm sure they all wanted to make it at Arsenal, but at the end of the day, Arsenal, these top 6 clubs, these Premier League and even Championship clubs, it's a melting pot. The statistics already from me before you even get an academy to try and be a footballer are not in your favour. Being a good footballer is just the bare minimum of being at these clubs. Like I've said myself, people, you've heard me say Joe, Emil, Nelson, Saka, John Gilles, Amici. You've heard me say bare names. These are good, extremely good footballers. But that's why they're at Arsenal, because they've got potential to do that. Like at Chelsea, like with City and Sancho and all of these other guys. So it's a tough one. But for me, I know all of these players want to make it at Arsenal. I'm rooting for them and I hope Emery gives them all the chance and says, yo, listen, pre-season, if you show me something, you can get games in it and you can be a part of this thing. If not, you go on loan and then you probably try again in a year's time. I'm rooting for all of them. But that's a gamble, people. Everything's a gamble because you can go on loan and it don't bang for you and opportunities can open up for man that have stayed at the club. Football's a funny game, people, but that's a gamble. I would look at the minutes I've played. Yeah, you've made your debut for Arsenal and you scored and stuff in Joe, but I would look at the minutes I've really played, the minutes I need to play to advance myself as a footballer, the age I'm going to be, seeing my peers as well. Ultimately, the end goal is just to be a professional footballer. Minutes are currency. You got to be selfish. I feel a lot of them have to be selfish this summer. Michi's got to be selfish. Saka's got to be selfish. And this ain't me getting up and saying move and stuff. In fact, Saka's an exception because he's 18 in September. I think people need to calm down. He's developing so well. I think Saka and Michi are exceptions in that. I think both are ready to test themselves in some capacity in first team. But like I said, if it was me, I'd be easing them in. They'd be travelling with the squad. They'd be getting a half hour there, 20 minutes here, a 10 there. Obviously, if you do your thing, you play consistently. A league start in the cup. And just, you know what, just grooming them in it, people. Just moving them in the right directions of professional footballers. Because once again, I think Amici is going to be a special footballer, for example. But he's still a young man. He's still developing. I've seen it at 23 levels games. He's not had the best games. He's been on fire. Consistency. You can't even begin to have consistency before you've got 100 career appearances. Again, obviously use your brains. You can, people, but you get it, people. 100 appearances is your first real milestone, excluding the obvious of being a professional footballer. For me, anyways, people. So that's what they need to get. Minutes are currency. Like I said, he's played a lot, but if you add together Nelson's appearances at Arsenal, Joe Willock's appearances at Arsenal, Eddie Nketiah's appearances at Arsenal, Emil Smith-Rowe's appearances at Arsenal, are you touching 100 people, really? If you're touching 100, you're just about collectively between them. I've just said what I've said about 100 appearances, but look how many names I've said. I beg someone, I could be wrong, I'm not saying I'm wrong, but I'm not right, people. I'm not saying I'm right, but I beg someone, one of you lot, just go on transfer market, look at all of these players, add together the amount of appearances they've all made collectively for Arsenal. Look at it. Is it touching 100? And then be even more competent, people, and look beyond just the appearances and the minutes played, people. How many have played 90 minutes and things? Joel's done a decent amount in the Europa, but how many substantial minutes has Eddie got? Did he start against Burnley? Forgive me if I'm wrong, I cannot remember. I don't think he did. Did he start against Burnley? Did he even start against Norwich when he came on? Yeah, he started against Blackpool, but did he have the best of games again? They're still developing, people. You can't cry for me, and as well to some people, you can't cry for Emery to give these players chances and then cry when they don't perform because they're still developing. Many people don't understand this youth thing. Patience is overstated, but it is very underrated. People need to really understand that, people. Not every footballer is the same. How Amici might best develop could be different from Saka. How Saka could develop can be different from Joe and Tyrese and things. Tyrese might be developing at one thing, slow at the other. Eddie might be excelling at that, and they've all got to be selfish, but they're all developing at different rates. People, the one currency is, as much as I love these young players, there are inconsistencies. What can I get with you from 10 games? I know Torreira, for example, I'm going to get a basic level of competency from him, for example, people. Guendouzi, I don't know that. Joe Willock, I don't know that. Nelson, technically don't know that, people. Do you see what I'm saying? People don't know what you're going to get from these players 10 games in a row. I love these players, but people need to have the competency to understand they're still developing and they're naive. There's going to be times, and as much as we talk about these attacking players and going in the attacking sense, they've got to do their fair share defensively. There's going to be times Amici or Nelson dancing past players, they lose the ball in one half, the other team capitalise and they score and we lose that game, and all the pressure's on them players because everyone will forget. They could have blinders. People will forget 80 minutes, but if they do that mistake in the 81st, you're looking at social media and all this nonsense, and they've already been exposed to these sort of things, people. And another, defensively, if they're not switched on, if they're not tracking back, a lot of these things, people, there's a lot of things. I do think these players definitely should have got more chances last season and should be getting a lot of chances, but at the same time, need to understand they're still young. Potential is just a buzzword. It needs to be realised. To realise that, you have to take your time and develop yourself. Nothing comes overnight, people. Some players, obviously, you get them once in a generation talents and them crazy sort of players, of course. But generally, that's not how the script goes, as you lot are competent enough to understand. For now, I'm not going to take up any more of your time, people. You lot watch the best YouTuber at this, so you lot know your time is worthy. On that note, I'm going to keep it moving. Please like, subscribe, get in the comments if you've got any opinions. For now, God bless. DG's out.